ancient myths provide us with a pattern that we can use to cut through the false narratives and live with purpose. One of the most important pillars in the ancient myths is the principle of hospitality. The concept of hospitality is grounded in the understanding of abundance, which cuts against the false narrative of austerity and scarcity. The gods give abundantly. Hospitality has to do with the relationship between a host and a guest. But the relationship goes far beyond just entertaining the way we might think about it. It's a concept that the Greeks called ksenia. Here's how it was spelled in the ancient Greek. And it was given by the gods. In fact, the god Zeus, in his aspect of protecting hospitality, was known as Zeus Ksenios, and the goddess Athena as Athena Ksenia. Good hospitality is characterized by mutual respect between the guest and the host. When the guest shows up, the host provides food. The host provides a bath. The host takes care of the guest before even asking the guest business. Some examples we see in the Odyssey of good hospitality, mutual respect between the host and the guest, include King Menelaus and Queen Helen of Sparta when Telemachus goes to visit Menelaus and Helen, or King Alcinous and Queen Arete in Phaeacia when Odysseus is in need of their hospitality. Even Telemachus, when he's visited by the goddess Athena, she visits him in disguise. None of the suitors who are plaguing the house of Telemachus even notices this stranger. But Telemachus immediately goes over, greets the stranger, and offers hospitality, food, a place to stay. Telemachus exhibits proper mutual respect and good hospitality. And when it comes to a bad host, the Cyclops is probably the best example of a terrible host. Instead of offering food to his guests, he makes his guests into his food. He devours some of Odysseus's crew, and of course he imprisons them and he dashes their brains out. And when Odysseus says, "This is not the way," the Cyclops laughs and says, "I don't care about the will of the gods. I don't care about the law of the gods. It doesn't matter to me. I'm more powerful than their laws." So he despises their laws. He is bad hospitality. He's a terrible host. Of course, when it comes to bad guests in the Odyssey, the suitors are the example of terrible guests. They devour everything without giving back. They're rude. They're overbearing. They despise the will of the gods. They want to sleep with Penelope. They want to kill Telemachus. They get told over and over to leave by the host, but they don't leave. They're like parasites. And eventually, Odysseus and Telemachus have to kill all the suitors to get rid of them. Now, you may be asking, what does this have to do with us in today's modern world? It has everything to do with us. It has to do with your relationship with your employer. If you're an employee, that requires mutual respect. And if it's just a one-way street, a relationship that's just a one-way street, like the Cyclops, I'm just going to eat you and I'm not going to give anything back. Or the suitors, I'm just going to devour your household and cut off your future and not give anything back. That's a one-way street. And if you're in an employee relationship where you're an employee and your employer is just acting like it's a one-way street, you need to remedy that situation. You need to address that situation or you need to leave. It could be the way children and parents are relating to one another. And that most important relationship in most of our lives has to do with finding the right partner. This principle of mutual respect and not a one-way street, well, it applies here as well. We could illustrate this point about a partnership, about finding the right partner, as being a two-way street, not a one-way street, mutual respect, by looking at the more modern movie, still back in the 1930s, of Human Bondage, where there's a relationship portrayed with the character played by Bette Davis in her first big breakout role, the character of Mildred, and Philip. It's just completely a one-way street. Philip wants to marry Mildred, but she just treats him with complete disdain and disrespect. She tells him, you know what, I never liked you. I only pretended to like you. In fact, she spits on his ambitions, his art, which means more to him than anything else. He loves his paintings for what they represent, what he wanted them to be, what he hopes they can be. And she just spits on them, and eventually she tears them apart.
They're indecent. Disgusting, I calls it. To have drawings of naked people about. If you want to know what I think, I've half a mind to take them down myself.
You do nothing of the kind. I love those pictures, Mildred. I love them for what they were meant to be.
You're too fine. You won't have none of me, but you'll sit here all night looking at your naked females.
Mildred!
You cad! You dirty swine! I never cared for you, not once. I was always making a fool of you. You bored me stiff. I hated you. It made me sick when I had to let you kiss me. I only did it because you begged me. You hounded me. You drove me crazy. And after you kissed me, I always used to wipe my mouth. Wipe my mouth! You love these things. You love what they were meant to be. Well, here's what they were meant to be.
It's a one-way street. If you're in a relationship where someone is treating you this way, you need to get out of that relationship. That is not a partnership. That is bad hospitality. So this concept of hospitality, this ancient principle, this pillar of hospitality, it's so important. So much more could be said about this concept. But it plays a role in every interaction we have with other men and women. And it is grounded in the abundance given by the gods. And the gods, they want to see proper hospitality, and they hate to see exploitation and abuse of this principle. We'll explore it more in the future. Thanks so much.